Hi guys, welcome to another live session. I'm very excited that you're here. So, as you can see on the thumbnail, we are going to talk about the first 18 things that you should do when you arrive in the US as an international student. This is based on 8 years living in the US and also, helping so many students transition to a new country. So, if you have any question, this is especially for those who are already in the US, like who have just arrived. I know some of the few points, probably they've already gone through that already, but there are a lot of things that, if you just arrive in the US, you're going to learn from this live stream. If you have any question, just leave it in the chat and I will do my best to respond to it. Also, if you can tell me where you are watching this from, I will really appreciate it. Like if you're outside the US or if you're in the US too, whichever state you are watching this from, if you can tell me, that would be, much appreciated. Um, if this is your first time, I'm glad to have you around and I hope you enjoy this one. So, like I said already, I've been in the US for the past 8 years and I have seen a lot of things. I've seen the challenges that people have gone through, like people have gone through and all of that. And the goal of this video, in a way, is to help other students understand the realities of living in the US and be on top of their game, as soon as they arrive, so that they don't um, have too many questions, about how to stay beyond your program and stuff like that. Um, so so let's assume that you arrive at the airport, right? And then the first thing that you need to do is to go through security. You have to go through the CBP, and so it's like you are coming from a different country. So as soon as you arrive in the US, the security has to make sure you have a reason to come to the US. So they will check your I-20 and then your passport. So if they verify that you are supposed to be here, then they will allow you to, go to like exit the airport. And then normally you are going to have somebody who would, take you to the school. If you don't have anyone, then you may have to look for an Uber or something. So after you've done all of that, okay, the first thing is your accommodation. Now, with regards to accommodation, sometimes if you are lucky and then you know someone in the school, the person can actually work on it for you before you arrive in the country. And those of you who have arrived, I'm sure by now you have your accommodation already, but that's the first thing that you have to take care of. Normally, even after you buy your flights, right, you have to take care of accommodation. Think about how you are going to get an accommodation. If you don't know anyone in the school, you have to reach out to the international office. They will be able to help you get a place to stay until you get your own accommodation. Apart from the international office, you can also reach out to your professor or the director of the program, about the fact that you don't know anyone in the country and you need help with accommodation for the first few days, before you finally get your own place. So that is the first thing. The second thing is to well, also with accommodation, let me just chip in this. It is also important, to ask questions about where you can do your grocery shopping, right? To know where you can buy cheap things, because when you are coming to a new country, you cannot come with everything that you have, right? So there are a lot of things that when you come, you would have to buy. And if you are coming to the US the first time, or you're already in the US, like you just arrived, I have three stores that I will recommend to you. One is Walmart. Another one is Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree, most of the things are $1.25, right? So they are very cheap. But there are certain things you don't want to spend $1.25 on them. Like you want something more quality, right? So then you have to go to Walmart. And then there is also Aldi. Aldi is also a place where the things are not $1, but they are kind of cheaper, right? Cheaper compared to Walmart in most cases, I think. So those are the three places that I normally buy my stuff, right? So then, I mean, there is online and all those stuff, like Amazon, Temu. I actually like to buy things from Temu because the things are very cheap. Like if you're lucky and, let's say around this time, I think if you check, you might get some, good discounts on all of that. So that's where I buy a lot of things. I also buy some things from Walmart. There are certain from Amazon. There are certain things that I only need them from Amazon. So then I buy them from Amazon. So yeah, in a future video, I'm going to talk about online shopping and stuff like that. Yeah, because I mean, I've been doing I've been buying things online and in store for the past 8 years, and so I'm going to tell you a lot of things about all of these things. So that is it for the first part, right? Now, the second part, or the second thing that you should do, is to get a US number. And there are about four main networks, right, in the US. There is Verizon, there is AT&T, and T, and then there is T-Mobile, and then there is I don't know, maybe these are the three top uh cellular networks that you can go for. But then there are so many other ones, to smaller ones, who tap into these bigger networks, right? And these smaller ones, they tend to have better deals. So what I currently use, I think I use Mint Mobile, right? And I spend about I don't know, $15 every month. Now they only give me 5 gigabytes of data. In the US, you don't actually need a lot of data because in your apartment you have Wi-Fi. When you go to campus, there is Wi-Fi everywhere you go. So it's like you don't actually need a lot of data. So five gigabytes is actually more than enough for me. So that's what I use. I just pay $15. If you want unlimited, then you would have to pay like $30. I don't know if you need unlimited because I don't know if it's relevant. But in my apartment there is Wi-Fi, so I don't see the point. The point of having an unlimited when I already have a Wi-Fi in my apartment. And about and also I when I came to the US, actually, let me tell you the story. I the SIM card that was recommended to me, or the network that was recommended to me, was I've forgotten. Uh, it was I don't remember. I don't remember. That was what everyone was using, right? So, and I was paying $30 every month, but then I felt like $30 was too much. So then I did. A friend recommended one for me, which was $15 at the time. Then I realized that I wasn't even using much of that, so I had to do my own research, and I came across one which was $10. And when I got that $10, I recommended it to so many people. You have no idea. Like, so many people, started using that network, because it was very cheap and you don't really need a lot of data. In the US, it doesn't matter how many hours you spend calling somebody, talking somebody on the phone. That doesn't count. Most of the time, how much, or even all the time, how much you pay. Okay, well, not all the time. Most of the time, how much you pay depends on how much data you need, right? So if you don't need a lot of data, then you can go for the cheaper plan. And also, as international students, most of the time you can even, like, you talk to your family on Wi-Fi, right? Like using WhatsApp and stuff like that. So you don't need a lot of data. When you're a fresh student, the last thing you want to do is to overspend. So I mean, if ideally, if you can spend like $10 or $15, $10, I think it was. Which network was $10? I think Red Pocket. There is a network called Red Pocket. I think they have $10 and all of that. But I use Mint, which is $15. And the $15 comes with unlimited call and text. And then the only thing is the data, which is just 5 gigabytes, which I think it's more than enough for me. So the third thing that you do is you have to go for orientation. The orientation is very important because I don't know if things have changed, but in most cases you would have to go through orientation before you can do your paperwork, right? Paperwork will give you access to will let you be able to apply for the social security, which will enable you to work in the country and all of that. So you would have to go through orientation. The orientation is also important because you get to know a lot about campus security, and just everything about a campus, right? Where you can find a gym, where you can find where you can find help, like if you need help, like if as international students, sometimes you might feel isolated, you might feel lonely and all of that. So they have all these what's their name? They have all these centers which can help you, with like going through, tough times like that. So that is the second thing that you should keep in, that is a third thing that you should keep in mind. um and about the social security, you have to try to apply for it as soon as possible, because it is very important for you if you have a GA, and also if you don't have a GA and then you want to work off, if you want to work on campus. And also, like, if you if like if your GA is, let's say, I don't know, 10 hours, and then you have 10 hours more, right? It means you have to, work the remaining 10 hours on campus, so then you can use the social security to apply for jobs on campus. The next thing is, you have to open a bank account. So the fourth thing is opening a bank account. And regarding bank accounts, you know when several years ago, I don't know, from 2017 actually, all those who came, who knew me when they came, I helped them get. There is this bank called Chase Bank. When you open an account with them, they are going to give you $200 free once you open the account, and then you maintain your account for 3 months or so. They will give you 200, but you have to apply with a code, and the code is very easy to get. All you have to do is just Google, Chase Bank coupon, Chase Bank checking account coupon, and that will give you, a coupon. There's $200, there's $300. If you're lucky, you can get it $300. Sometimes if you go on eBay, and then there are people who are selling those coupons, like you can just pay like $1, and then you can get a coupon which will give you $300 when you open the Chase Bank account. And it's not just Chase, there are other banks as well that when you open an account, they are going to give you free bonus. So that is something that you should take advantage of. I mean, so many students, benefited from that, which is helpful because, when you come, you know to a new country, like, you'll be spending a lot of money, and a lot, so getting that to help out, I think, is very important. So make sure you take advantage of that. The next thing is, you also have to be aware of, groups on campus, depend on what you are interested in. I am not a religious person, right? But I think when you're an international student, having going to a church, I think, helps a lot, because you're going to meet people from your country and people from other countries. And one thing about churches is that you kind of get a sense of belongingness, right? You are going to get people who make you feel at home and all of that. So, and also, I mean, there are other groups, like, depending on where you are going, there could be like African Student Union, and all of that. So try to explore all of these groups, and yeah, get to know people, because it can be very lonely and very difficult to, you know uh move to a new place. Like, it's very difficult. So yeah, try to get connected to people, and get to know about, what is there and all of that. And through these people, you can actually get a lot of help. They can help you with so many things, settling in and knowing where to buy certain things and all of that. And so yeah, that's something to keep in mind. I remember a few years ago, there was this money that they were sharing, and it was through somebody that I got to know about that. So I applied for it and I got the money. So that's one of the things, like, you have to know people on campus. That kind of helps a lot. Then the next thing, this is very, very important, is to make sure you scan all your documents. So when you come, you are going to get an I-20, and the I-20s, depending on what happens, you might end up with so many different I-20s, right? When you are coming, the I-20 you are giving is different from when you arrive. I think they may give you another I-20 or so, so, like, you have to make sure you scan all these documents, because you don't know when you will need them. Your passport, make sure you scan it, and then save all of these things in a Google Drive, because you never know when you want to have access to it, right? And so try to scan these documents. And there's another thing that I will mention. You have to scan that one as well. Okay. Now, another thing is to try to, if you don't have a job, like, if you don't have a job, I think I probably mentioned this a little bit. If you don't have a GA, right, as soon as you arrive, or even before you arrive, you have to start looking for a job on like in the school, like on campus. You have to start looking for a job, like a GA, or um just opportunities on campus. The thing is that the campus jobs, they don't pay well. Like, they will not really pay you that much, but at least it's better than nothing, right? So that is something that you have to keep in mind. If you don't have any GA, you have to try and then explore all the opportunities on campus. You know, it's not just your department that you can get a GA. You can get GAs from other departments. You know, sometimes a department may have and like may have a GA position for 5 people, right? 5 incoming students, but then only 4 of them will come. So there will be one spot. If you apply or if you reach out, then they can give it to you. So that's something that you can think about. I worked at Global Health, even though I was from the economics department. So you know, that's that's something that you can think about, right? Okay, and another thing is another thing is you need to try and get either a driver's license or a state ID. Now, I would not recommend that you get a state ID, because if you get a state ID and then you get a driver's license later, the state ID becomes useless, right? So it is better for you to get a driver's license. And the driver's license, there are two ways. There are two levels. Is it levels? There are 2 steps. I don't know, maybe 2 steps, right? The first step is for you to uh, do something we call a knowledge test. So the knowledge test is like you have to learn about, you know, road signs, about how to drive on the road and stuff like that. And then you have to go and take a test. You know, it's just about 30 questions or so. And if you pass, you need to get, I don't know, you have to get like 80% correct or so. If you get 80% correct and then you pass, they are going to issue you a temporary card. That temporary card will allow you to start practicing or learning how to drive. So then from that point, you need somebody to kind of show you how to drive with a car, right? The first one, you don't need any car. You just have to, it's just a knowledge test. So once you have gone through the knowledge test, then somebody has to teach you. If you know how to drive already, then you just need a car to do few rounds. And then you know, there's something called maneuverability and stuff like that. You have to just learn how it's done. And then once you are ready, then you go to the driver's license office. They call it DMV or something. Then somebody will, like, when you are ready, you know, you book an appointment, and then a supervisor will be by your side, and then the person will direct you where to go and all of that, and then what to do for you to, you know, get your driver's license. And you have to pass the road test. So like, you go on a road and he will tell you, turn left, turn right, and stuff like that, do this, do that. If you're able to do everything correctly, then you get your driver's license. So it's not difficult. uh so it's always better for you to know how to drive before you come. But if you don't know how to drive before you come, people can teach you. You can still get, you know, somebody to teach you. I didn't know how to drive before I came, and I got help, right? So you can always get somebody to help you, you know, learn how to drive and all of that. The funny thing is, when I was learning how to drive, I didn't think I could drive. I didn't think I will ever be able to drive a car, because it was so difficult for me. I don't know why. Like, right now, I drive anyhow. I can just go anywhere I want, and you know, and all of that. I mean, this like many years ago, so that's understandable. But when I was learning how to drive, I just didn't understand what was going on. Like, I couldn't understand anything that I was being taught. So yeah, this should tell you that in life, you know, things don't come easy. Sometimes, you know, everybody has a weakness, right? Everybody, you cannot sail through life easily like that. You have to go through some challenges. So you need to get a driver's license. If you think you don't want to get a driver's license, you don't want to take the knowledge test, then you have to get a state ID. So that's the next thing that you have to get. And when you have your driver's license or your state ID, you have to scan that one as well, and then keep it somewhere. Keep it in your Google Drive, so that wherever you go, you can have access to it, right? So that's the thing. The next thing is, you have to start thinking about what you want to do with your life. You know, like, if your program is a 1 year program, what is next after that 1 year program, right? Or if it's a 2 year program, 2 years is not far. So you have to still think about what are you going to do. And as an international student, you have several options, right? You can switch to another program. Like, after you complete your first program, you can uh do another program, or you can transfer. Before you complete, you can transfer to another program, depending on what suits you, depending on what is going on. Like, if you're in a program where there is no funding, right, then as soon as you come, you can start exploring other programs where you can get some funding, you know, because funding is very, very important. If you are in a program which is not STEM, and then you are concerned about getting a good job after your program, then you can think about doing a STEM program after your current program, which is non-STEM, or even before you finish, you can switch to another program. If you're in the US, it's very easy to always switch to a different program. Like it's so easy. It's always very easy to switch to different programs. So that is something that you can think about. But you always have to be ahead of your be on top of your game, because sometimes if you make wrong moves, you'll be hurt. Like, you'll be hurt because of immigration rules and all of that. You have to always know what you are doing. And so yeah, like I said, one option is to change program or to start a new program, or you can also work on OPT. If your program is non-STEM, you can only work 1 year. If your program is a STEM program, you can work up to 3 years. You start with 1 year and then you can renew it for 2 more years, so up to 3 years. And then if a company is interested in, the company can file what we call H1B, right, for you. But that is very difficult these days. It's very difficult for companies to file for you, because it's costly and all of that. Then uh, so uh I don't know. Probably that's not that, I don't know. These days it's actually not feasible for a lot of students. So you probably don't want to think about it, right? Now this brings me to another point, which is there is something called EB2 NIW, which is available for F1 students. So if you're an F1 student, you can actually get your green card without needing an employer to sponsor you, right? You can actually file for yourself. They call it self petition. You can do it yourself, but also if you want, you can get an immigration attorney if you are not sure, because it's a complicated process. So you probably need an immigration attorney to help you through the process, and it's costly, of course. But if you get a green card, it changes everything for you, right? So that's something you can explore. And I actually have a video on it. I interviewed Rich, who was going through the process, and he explained everything very well to us. So if you want, you can check it out and start thinking about it. If you're in a master's program, sometimes it's not easy. Normally, if you're in a PhD program, I think they say it's easier compared to masters and all. But some of the things, there are certain things that Rich mentioned that you should do as soon as you arrive. Start doing those things, so that, because it takes time. It could take you like 2 years or 3 years or something, and right now too many people are applying, so there are backlogs and all. So it might take a bit of time, so you have to start thinking about it now if that's something you are interested in. There are people who also come and then they meet somebody and then they get married to them, so that is also there. So there are few options, but you have to be aware of, you have to be sure about what you really want, what you want to do. Some of us, we made a lot of mistakes. We were just here and there, and we're sacrificing for people who who didn't even appreciate it all. But so my point is that you have to stay focused and know what you want, and plan towards that, because this is very important. There are people who finish and then they go back home because they have explored all their options, and they've kind of exhausted all of them. And right now, then they get to a point where it's like they don't know what to do again, and they don't want to be illegal in the country, so then they have to go back. But if you come and then you think about everything very well, you plan your life and you do all that you're supposed to do, yeah, then you can continue to stay here for as long as you want, so long as you're doing that legally, right? So that is another point that you should keep in mind. Another thing that I want you to do is start a routine. A routine makes a huge difference to my life. Like I went through a bad period, like for an extended period of time actually, and it was really difficult for me. Like it was as if I should die. So like my point is that I went through a lot of bad things and like difficult times, and what helped me was having a routine. When you have a routine, you wake up and you are very clear about what to do. And by the time you are done with the things in your routine, right, then you kind of gain clarity on what to do next. That is very, very important. Like it's so important. Like so for me, my routine, there are so many things that I do. One of them is I work out. Sometimes I wake up and I don't want to work out, but then I'll tell my brain it's just 10 minutes. I'll end up I'll end up doing like 30 minutes of workouts, right? And that is very, very important to me. Like I every day I have to do some workout. Like even if it's short, at least it has to be at least 10 minutes, right? And by the time you finish your workouts, you as soon as I wake up, I drink water, just because the body loses water, when we sleep. And also I do that. I do breath work, and just to calm the body down, like, and a few other things. Like these things, they help me a lot. So yeah, if you have a routine, it helps a lot. And also, where I come from, I never read a book. I Reading a book didn't make I mean, it was, I didn't think it was that important to me, even though I'll be hearing people talking about reading and all of that. But yeah, because of everything that I went through and all of that, I started reading, and every day I try to read at least 3 pages of a book. Like, and you have no idea what is in a book. Like, if you're not someone who reads. So yeah, that is something that you should keep in mind. Mental health is a big deal here. Back back in Africa or in Asia or wherever you may be coming from, like, things are not like that, compared to, like, things are different from here, because here everybody is living an individual life. Nobody really cares about you. Like, so yeah, sometimes you feel isolated, you feel lonely, homesick and all of that. You feel like going back home. But you can also not go back home, because people are counting on you. People are, like, if you go back home and then you don't succeed, people will be like, people will call you a failure, and you don't want that. So when you come, you have to push through. And yeah, and having a routine, and being grateful for what you have, like expressing gratitude every day, also makes a big difference. Like, for me, no matter what I go through, I know that I have to be grateful. So gratitude makes the difference for me. So um I I don't know if I've told you everything. I don't know if I've mentioned 13 stuff, but let me just look at the comments, and whatever I forgot, I'll tell you about it. Okay. All along, I haven't even checked the comment section. So let me check the comment section now, and then um all right. Ibrahim says, but oh, Ibrahim is watching from Turkey. That's nice. Yakubu from Ghana, Rosemary, Kenya, Karen, Asija from Nigeria, Mohammed watching live. Mohammed is from Ghana, Samuel from Ghana, Nelson from Nigeria, Brima, good evening. Mohammed says, how does one get a social security if he or she does not have a GA or RA? Yeah, so the social security, before you can apply for it, I think you have to have a job. So that's the thing. But if you don't have a GA, you don't have RA or anything, you don't have any employment, right? Before arriving in the country, then you have to uh, apply for a campus job, right? The campus jobs, it's not really, they won't pay you, but at least that can help you get a social security number, social security card. And every school has a job portal. So just look for the one in your school, and then look for available jobs. And then once you apply for the job, once you have an appointment letter or something, then they can, this thing, I did my 8 years ago. So the information might not be, I don't know, clear enough or more recent. But yeah, but you can find out from the international office. They'll provide you with all the information that you need. But I think you need to have a job offer letter before you can apply for the social security. And Mohammed, if you don't have any G at all, then like I said already, try to look for a GA in your school or in your department or in other departments. Like, it's very important for you to get a GA. Try to get that, because I don't know if you are using a loan, but I hate it when I see students going for loans. Like, if you are outside the country, you will not really understand the reality of using a loan to come to the US, because it's very difficult to repay your loan. Like, it's so hard. So I don't encourage that. Mohammed says that Chase bank account opening, is it online or in person? Yeah, since you are new in the country, you can only do it in person, right? I can do it online, but you because you are new and all that, you have to do it in person. So yeah, and you need your social security card to apply to well, okay, they require it, but then if you go and then you don't have the social security, they can still open the account for you. but then they will tell you that once you have your social security, you should take it to the bank for them to update it in your bank account, right? So yeah, but they will need your passport, your I-20, and then they will also need your proof of address where you live, right? So they need that as well. And Nelson says, how long does it take to get a social security? I mean, it used to be, I don't know, about 3 weeks or so, but now I think it's about a week. A week you can get your social security card, right? So Nelson says, how about opening an account? And can you open an account as many as you want? The account is only you open one account per person, so you cannot open multiple. They are giving you $200 or $300. If they allow you to keep opening it, like how does no? It's only, and there is a condition. The condition is that you have to make sure every month $500 is passing through your account, so you are receiving pay of $500 every month. Which is, if you have a GA every month, they will be paying you more than 1,000 every month if you have a GA, right? So yeah, that $500 is not difficult, for you to get in your account. So yeah, Zainabu is here. Yeah, hi Zainabu. Nelson says the credit card. Yeah, I think the credit card is the one thing that I forgot. I have to tell you about the credit card. So when you come, you need your social security before you can apply for the credit card. Next week, same time, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about credit card. I have used more than 20 credit cards, and I'm not kidding. Like, this is the truth. I have used more than 20 credit cards, and I, right now I probably have like I probably have almost 10, I think, and I'm trying to close them because it's not good to have so many like that. It's a trap, right? It's a trap. So next week I'll be making a video. I'll be explaining everything about credit card. But the point is that everybody needs a credit card. Like everybody who is in the US needs a credit card. It's not just about you know you trying to avoid a loan or something, but everybody needs a credit card. Like, because the credit card will help you will help you get something we call a credit score. And the credit score can do so much for you. Like, you have no idea. The credit score is so important. Even in job application, credit score can help sometimes. When you want an apartment, you need your credit score. Like, I was in Ohio for 5 years, and when I was moving to Illinois, I didn't know anybody in Illinois. All I had to do was apply for an apartment, and I didn't have to provide bank statement or anything. All they had to do was, I think I sent them my I-20 or so, and then my social security number. And so they use a social security number to run the credit check and all of that. And they realized that I had a good credit score. And so that was just enough for them to approve that me for the apartment. So yeah, you need the credit card. Next week I'll explain everything to you. If you have any questions, just ask me during the live session tomorrow. And also, if you are interested in applying for a credit card, which is something I will talk about more next week, I have there is a credit. My first credit card 8 years ago is the same credit card that I use now, right? It's the same credit card. I've been using it for 8 years, and that credit card, if I refer you, I will get $100. You will also get $100. So if you are interested in applying for that credit card, you let me know and I'll share the link with you. You apply for it, you get $100 for free. I get $100, and it's for free. Like America, they have free things, so that's something to keep in mind. Okay, then there is another thing that I forgot to tell you, and it has to do with you as an international student. When you come, you don't have a lot of money, especially at the beginning, right? You have to be aware of the fact that there are pantries everywhere, like within the school, outside the school, and all of that. There are pantries, and a pantry is a place where you can actually get food for free. So when you go to your school's pantry, you are going to see a lot of food. They are not like cooked foods, right? They are mostly canned stuff, and some of them you might not like, but you are going to get a lot of things that you will like, right? And sometimes you are going to get fruits, um you are going to get meat, so many things, that drinks and all of that at your school's pantry. So this is something that you have to take advantage of. Take advantage of pantry so that you don't have to be spending too much on grocery. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. And Karen says, what if you finish your program and you want to start another program like PhD? Do you need to reapply for a visa? No. Once you are a visa, the only purpose of a visa is to allow you to enter a country. Once you come to the country, even if your visa has expired, we don't care. It doesn't affect you so long as your I-20 is active. I-20 is active if you are in a new program, if you continue with your program or you've switched a new program and all of that. So I-20 is what counts as soon as you come into the country. But if you're coming into the country, the visa is what gives you access into the country. So that's the purpose of a visa. Okay. Uh, Osman says, can undergraduates get a GA? If you're an undergraduate student, you, it is. I've not heard of an undergraduate student who got a GA, but an undergraduate student, there are jobs on campus that you can actually get. Like there are all kinds of jobs, you know. Yeah, it's possible you can get a GA, but I don't know how that works actually. But most of the time, the GAs are given to graduate students, right? Because that's why they call it graduate assistantship, right? So yeah, most of the time it's for graduate students. But if you are an undergraduate student, yeah, there are some jobs on campus that you can do. Okay, you have to ask questions. Always, when you ask questions, you are going to get good answers from people. So ask a lot of questions, and you know, the I wouldn't say this, but I was going to say something. But yeah, so ask questions. You are going to get answers. Okay, and I remember like and also I mean I already told you that I went through some difficult times and all of that, and this is the reality of an international student. We have a lot of challenges, but sometimes you cannot even tell the people back home, because if you tell somebody back home, the person will be like, if it's bad, come home. If it's bad, come home. But it's not about if it's bad, come home, but it's like if you come home and then you are not ready to settle in, right? Then it's like you are people will start calling you a failure. They would be like you went abroad and look at you, you are back, nothing to show for it. And so you have to still make sure you achieve the things you are supposed to achieve before you go back. Like that's something you have to keep in mind. So there will be a lot of challenges. There will be difficult times, and US education requires a lot of homework. You have to do a lot of homework. It's very like if you have a GPA of 3.0 in Ghana, when you come to the US, you are not likely to get less than 3.0. You are definitely going to get more than 3.0, because the way US education works is that they give you a lot of assignments. And once you are doing these assignments, at the end of your program, at the end of the semester, the end of semester exam doesn't have a lot of weight most of the time. Sometimes maybe 40% of the overall, or maybe 20% or something. Sometimes it's even a project that you have to do, right? And so because of that, because of the distribution of the grades, you are likely going to get a good grade by the end of the semester, right? So yeah, that's but the thing is that it requires a lot of work. You do all these assignments. Like I had this professor when I was in my second master's degree. He had assignments for us, like about two assignments every week. It was crazy, but yeah, that's the thing about US education. That's why sometimes I get frustrated when students don't want to do the simple things, and they want you to do everything for you, and still they want to come. Like, you're coming to do what? No, you have to be ready, prepare yourself before you come. That's how it is, right? So oh, Rosemary was asking a question and Karen has responded. Oh, okay. And Rosemary says, does student doing a master's degree? So Rosemary, if you are coming to do your masters or PhD, the way it works is that the school is not giving you the usual scholarship that you get if you're coming to do your bachelor's degree. Bachelor's degree, they'll give you a scholarship, which means it's a free money. But with graduate students, that money is not technically free. That money is given to you so that you work for the school. So sometimes you may teach, sometimes you may do help a professor or professors with research. Sometimes you may assist with administrative duties and stuff like that. So that's what a GA entails, right? So it is not given to everybody. It's not like you are coming to do masters so they give it to you. No, it is given to some students depend on what they submit and how the departments evaluated you know their transcript and their personal statements and all those stuff. So the department has to feel like you have something to contribute to them before they give you a GA. and you can contribute through teaching, through research, and through other stuff, in the school. So that is what a GA is about. I believe I've answered all your questions. I think I've talked about the thing that I wanted to share with you today. So when you come, make sure you do all of these things. Make sure you sort your accommodation. If you don't know how to do, if you don't know anyone, get help from somebody in the school. Make sure you have a US number. And the US number, there are cheaper options that you can get, as low as $10, and you don't need a lot of data because there is Wi-Fi everywhere you go. So that's the thing. And most of the time you have unlimited call and text, so you don't worry so much about that. Then you have to also go for the orientation and learn everything that you need to learn about the campus security, job opportunities, and all those stuff, like if you need help, like where to get help and all of that. And you also have to apply for your social security as soon as you come, like as soon as you have done the paperwork stuff. Also open a bank account. In the bank account, there is a free bank account. There is a free there is if it depend on the bank you apply to, you decide to open an account, you can get a free bonus, a bonus of maybe $200 or $300, like if it's the case of Chase. But other banks also offer these free bonuses as well. And the condition is usually you have to make sure $500 passes through your account every month, which is not difficult if you have a GA position. Also, get familiarize yourself with associations and campus groups and stuff like that, like African Student Union, like your church and stuff like that, because they can help you with certain information. Also, make sure you scan all your documents, including your I-20 and passports. And if you get a driver's license, make sure you scan that one as well. If you want to go for a state ID, that one too also works. Make sure you scan all these documents and keep them in your Google Drive. Also, if you don't have if you don't have a GA, then you have to start looking for a job. If your GA is 10 hours, it means you have 10 hours more that you can work. So then you can work those 10 hours, elsewhere in the school. So that's something that you can also do. And also, you have to be aware of the places where you can buy, where you can buy stuff. And I like to buy my things from Dollar Tree, Aldi, and Walmart, and then some online companies like Amazon, and then Amazon and Timu. And if you want cheap clothes and stuff like that, you can also look for thrift stores. If you want like cheap bed, cheap iron and stuff like that, like they are secondhand, thrift. There are so many secondhand thrift stores around. So depending on what you want, you can also go for some of these things. But it's not everything that you want to buy from a thrift store, right? So that's something to keep in mind. And then also, you have to. There's some of the things I actually forgot, like depending on the school. Like I think every school has a bus system, right? Where as a student, the bus will come to, like, will pass by your apartment or something. Like they usually have a stop in so many places. So if you have to walk to where the bus stop is, then you have to do so. And then the bus will take you to campus. Like, depending on where you live, the bus is likely going to pass there and all of that, so that you don't have to walk. And also during the winter when it's very cold, these buses are there to take you to campus and back to your apartment. So that's something too. So there is an app that you can download to be able to track the bus, the time the bus will arrive at your destination and all of that, so that you don't have to waste time, in the cold or something. Then you also need to think about what you are going to do next. Do you want to get a job? Do you want to switch to another program? Do you want to start a new program? What do you want to get married? All these things, you have to think about them quickly. And then I also told you about the EB2 and IW and all those stuff. And also have a routine, because there will be difficult days, but if you have a routine, it kind of takes care of all the difficult days. There is a last thing, actually. If you are an F1 student and then you are in the US, you can easily apply for a Canadian visa. It's very, very easy to apply and to be approved. I have made a video about it, so you can check the video. And as soon as you come, you can apply for the Canadian visa. It's very easy, and you can travel to Canada whenever you want. So that's also something that you can do. And remember that in the US, Wi-Fi is free. So if something is confusing to you, if you want answers to something, you can always Google it. Make sure you take advantage of Google. And yeah, so this is what I have for you today. Retro says, please, I want to
enter into a uni to do my undergraduate studies. I finished in 2016. Do I have to write the SAT? If you want to come and do your undergraduate degree and then you want a good scholarship, a scholarship which is going to take care of almost everything, then you have to take the SAT. But if you want a small scholarship like $15,000, then you can go with your transcript and your YC. But if you really want a good scholarship, you have to take the SAT. So that's something to keep in mind. If you don't want to take the SAT, then you're not going to get a good scholarship. So if your parent can sponsor you, then that's fine. But the thing about not going for the interview with a good scholarship is that it is difficult to prove that your parents can sponsor your studies, even if they can. So that's why getting a good scholarship always makes a difference, right? So Rosemary says, can a master student switch from one program to another easily? Uh, easily, I'm not seeing like the bachelor's. I don't know what you mean. Maybe you mean from bachelor's degree to master's. Yeah, once you are done with your bachelor's degree, you can move to another program. So yeah. So thanks guys for joining, and um I'll see you next week, same time. Well, actually, those of you who are interested in visa interview mock sessions, tomorrow we are going to do a visa interview mock session. So yeah, if you want to join that one too. But next week we are going to talk about credit cards, everything about credit cards. And yeah, if you have enjoyed this, kindly share it with those who are already in the country. And you can also, if you're not in the country already, you can save this video, because this is a video that you are going to need. Okay. So guys, thanks for watching, and see you another time.
I coached a medical student whose visa was approved recently to pursue a master's degree in public health. She had a deficit of $62,000, which is being covered by her employer. In this video, we are going to go through the questions and answers that she prepared during the coaching sessions, as well as how her F1 visa